I want to give you a chance to respond. Jonathan Swan did an interview with Mitch McConnell this morning in which Swan asked McConnell whether if the Republicans should take the Senate in the midterm elections and another vacancy should occur while this president is still in office, whether a Republican-controlled Senate would hold a hearing on another Biden nominee. He refused to answer that question. Do you have a response to that? What do you think it says about the health of our constitutional system?
Well, I think given it's a day where, with bipartisan support, we are about to have a new member of the Supreme Court, a historic and eminently qualified member of the Supreme Court, and she did get 3 Republicans supporting her. That is a good sign and something we should take a moment to celebrate. Certainly, we don't anticipate or predict. I have no prediction of an additional opening, but we would certainly expect and call for all members of the Senate to operate as professionally as the president and our team did in this case, which is ensuring that there was advice and consent, that our nominee met with 97 senators. That's obviously a great number from the other party. That is how we would conduct ourselves, and we would expect the same in response.
And so, yes, as the reporter asked, Mitch McConnell, speaking with Jonathan Swan just yesterday, said he couldn't confirm or deny whether, if the Republicans take over, as is expected that they will later on today in the Senate, that if the next day there was an opening and you had 4 years of or 2 additional years of Biden at that point, he would confirm that there would ever be a hearing on literally any candidate, no matter how moderate, no matter how qualified, no matter how many of the Republicans had already voted for them. Viviana, he would not confirm that there would ever be nomination hearings in a Republican Senate with a Democratic president, which is honest at the very least.
Honest, but also, isn't that your job? Isn't that what you're supposed to do? Isn't that part of why you're there? So you're just what if you went into work and you're like, you know what, I'm not gonna do it. I can't confirm or deny that I'll do it. How long would you stay at that job? Mm-hmm. I mean, this is what the problem with politics is people think that they can just not do their job because they want to weigh it and their pockets lying here or there or the other place. It's embarrassing. If you're going to go up there and say it, I mean, we've seen him do it before. Am I surprised? No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, look, it's important that we make sure that people know that this is the least surprising thing ever. I mean, look, in a meta sense, it's so absurd, so unacceptable that I guess you could be surprised, at least briefly, but it's consistent with what Mitch McConnell has said before. I mean, this is what they did to Merrick Garland. He set up a very clear standard about, no, it's just that it's in the last year and the people should be able to weigh in.
It's in the last 4 years of the presidency. We don't have enough time.
It's in the last 100 years of human civilization. There's no time. The next species should be able to weigh in. The intelligent bunnies that will come after.
Look at how fast they got Kavanaugh in there. Kavanaugh was slippery. He just slipped right in.
Exactly. And so 1 year wasn't enough time for Merrick Garland. 30 days was more than enough time for Amy Coney Barrett. And now 2 years. And the thing is, we all need to be prepared for this. I want everyone out there watching this to do whatever it is that you can to avoid the situation we're talking about, which I think the road for that goes through supporting great progressives in the primaries that are still ongoing. That gives us then progressive candidates in the general. It gives us the best chance possible of winning those races.
Yes.
But also we have to endlessly pressure Biden and the Democrats to, I don't know, do something between now and November, because one of the reasons it seems so sure at this point that Mitch McConnell will be the majority leader again, or at least some right-wing ghoul will be, is we're looking at months and months of what's supposed to be the best news. That maybe come September 1st, they once again extend the student loan debt payment pause. Is that supposed to be the thing that gets everybody fired up to vote? Because I know what you're gonna have on the other side. You're gonna have a couple more months of insane transphobia mobilizing them, anti-abortion fervor, all of that sort of stuff coming from the right. They're gonna be fired up to vote. What is going to get our side excited to come out there on November?
That's the job that I will share and give to ourselves as progressives, is that we need to talk to people around us and not let fatalism take over, not let people get totally burned out by this whole process, recognizing how heavy that boot is on our neck.
Yeah,
it really is. And it gets overwhelming. So I can understand why people disengage and they want to give up. And that is the plan. That's what they're intending for you to do, to just be overwhelmed. So to share with our friends, our family, those that you can share with, how important it is to make the small wins. Because those are the ones that win the war at the end of the day. We got to keep the faith. Theoretically, I'm not a religious nut, but we got to be able to have faith in the fact that we can get those small wins. We've had a lot of progress over the years, 5 steps back, 2 steps forward, but we got to keep moving forward. And I think that's the hard thing, is to stay strong. It's what Ketanji, it's what she said, persevere. We got to persevere through this time. I mean, this is when we have to show our true colors as being for the people, because we can't give up.
Exactly. Look, and there's a lot of people who have, let's say, maybe shows that look kind of like this, that are trying to seduce you over to basically a complete apathy. It may be cloaked by something else, but it is taking yourself out of politics. And now it's all just, you're the guys up in the seats heckling at politics. This thing that we're involved in, that is just a game to be criticized. It's not a thing to be a part of. It's just fun. It's just entertainment. But that works for the person leading that cult effectively. They'll do just fine.
And it's easy to seem smart when you're like that. It's all bull, it's all this, and now you're a genius because everything's just fake, right?
Yeah.
So
you'll feel better. You won't be any better off. And so here's the thing, let's acknowledge something. We're in a period right now that is in some ways similar to, I'll say, like the second term of Obama, where we had a couple of years where it was abundantly clear that he is not going to be the candidate he campaigned that he was going to be. And so now, what are we supposed to do? We know that we're in a fight, but it's not a fight that feels great, like a fight to get Bernie elected, a fight to take Trump out of office. It doesn't feel as satisfying in some ways, but I don't want you to miss that those fights are coming. And what I want is for us to be in the best possible position when we get to them. And that involves not sitting it out right now, because sure, like helping Biden to stay in power doesn't feel satisfying to a leftist necessarily, but getting awesome progressives elected along the way certainly should be. When we're trying to get a progressive elected in 2024, don't you want more elected progressives? Don't you want Jessica Cisneros and Nina Turner out there able to go on MSNBC and talk up the values of progressives and all of that?
Yes.
We need as much support as possible. And this is when we get it. We do the difficult, dirty, unsatisfying fight right now during this horrible period to give us the best chance possible of success when the big battle comes. And if you've been in this for a few years, how close we've come and how devastating it is when we lose. Now just think about finally getting over that hump. And this is the background work that we need to do to make sure that that happens.
And keep in mind that the people are tired. They need local leaders. They do believe in progressive ideals, and they have had a little taste of it with the pandemic relief and some of those little crumbs that they gave us. We see that it's possible. You have progressive leaders willing to take care of their communities. That's what we need to know, that the people are ready for that, and just got to keep, you're right on it, John. And I really hope that we can get through it, because this is going to be a very, very tough election cycle.
Yeah, and by the way, like we try to do, we bring on some people who are running, for instance, in state legislatures, but even we don't do nearly enough of it, because you have an opportunity in these midterms, not just to vote for senators and congresspeople and all that, but for your state reps, your state senators and all that. And you might think, well, come on, that's not like exciting or whatever. Do you realize how high stakes those elections are?
Huge.
What have we been doing for the past year? Talking about
down to school board, John. School boards are one of the most contentious races. I mean, we talk about critical race theory in school. We talk about, LGBTQI rights in school and education. It happens in that microcosm, right? And that's why it is so important to get involved locally. If you guys are passionate, run.
Yeah.
Support candidates that you are passionate about, and it grows exponentially. I mean, we have a future to think about, and it is tough. The climate crisis, we have, education being attacked, we have books being banned. I mean, we have abortion being banned. We have a lot of stuff that we have to protect our children from. And, I don't have children myself, but as a former social worker, I always claim all children are my children. That's how I see it.
Yeah, and if somehow you've made it to this point, you don't think that it's particularly high stakes, the Republicans understand.
You're probably a 1%er at this point.
That's also true. But yeah, no. If you can't, you look at what's been happening in Texas and Idaho and Missouri and Florida and Tennessee and like all these states now, they get how powerful local government, state government is, and they are using. New
Mexico just did. New Mexico has free college for everybody, and it's been like that for a while, and now it's like a real thing happening. I mean, that can be a reality across the nation.
Exactly. And by the way, the national Democratic leadership, they haven't gotten this for 15 years. Like we cannot trust them to put the resources and attention needed into this. Yeah. But thankfully, the resources needed are lower than at other levels. It is a force multiplier on what you can achieve if you get involved, and if you get involved in organizations that do prioritize these. So don't forget about that.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.